Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits review. Fucking hell, I look like I've been dragged out of the edge backwards. Just come out of an hour in the hot tub and I might have had a few sherbets, as you know, on any Sunday afternoon you would. Fucking hell, I'm even slurring my words. That's bad, isn't it? So today we're reviewing this fella, Shipstones India Pale Ale. Now, anybody who knows anything about the East Midlands will know that Shipstones was a massive brand until Newcastle and whatever they were took over and bought Shipstones out. They turned into eventually Heineken, and Heineken owned the likes of Strongbow, Heineken obviously, and Foster's and many more brands in the UK. So basically, a decent firm in Nottingham was bought out by the conglomerates, or bigger firms, if conglomerates, you know, doesn't really appeal to you. So, let's crack this one open, as they say. You can't beat cracking one open, can you? So it's Sunday evening, work tomorrow. Yep. Thoroughly looking forward to it. Let's hope it's nowhere near as eventful as last week. And as weeks go, that is one week in my life I want to forget. Can't really say too much on here because more of a police matter than anything. But yeah, not a good week. But hey-oh, you know, you must persevere, go through the bad times to come back to the good times. And here's hoping, but from now on the future is a lot more brighter, because for me especially, it's been quite a dark year. Coronavirus aside, it's been a very dark year, and even though I've got a great family, the only darkness is actually at work, and I don't mind admitting that, you know, to anybody who watches. Even if it's somebody who I don't want watching these videos. Yeah, the only darkness was work. And, you know, we must all look at ourselves in life and realise that if we are a bad person, then we must be the one that change, not the world. The world doesn't change, you know, because you want it to. And if you're a bad person, then, you know, the world changes and you get left behind. And there are a lot of bad people in this world, and the good people amongst us all, must defeat the bad. And you know, in life and in all generations of people in the world, we all come across the very worst of humanity, and you know, and then you must defeat that and bring out the best of humanity to move forward. Cheers to that. Oh, so gotta say, that's a nice taste. So, Shipstones IPA India Pale Ale. I have had it before. I've had it at Sherwood Manor, which is in Sherwood, of course. Literally 300 yards that way. A nice pub, although there was some, basically, what's the word? Ruffians, common, yeah. People who don't know when to, you know, we all go out for a drink, and when we're in our mates, we all talk a certain way. But we must always remember there are children about, and we went to the pub one day, and all of a sudden, this, for the sake of you know, the conversation, dickhead, all of a sudden he's swearing his head off. I've got my 10-year-old, well, he was 9 at the time. And I'm looking at him thinking, calm your fucking voice down. If you can't talk decent in a pub with his children, get the fuck out. You know. And this twat, for want of a better word, just carried on all the way through. And to be honest, it ruined the meal. It wasn't nice. And, you know, when he fucked off for his cigarette with his women, it was a much better experience. But, you know, some people... If you talk trash in your own house, that's fair enough, that's up to you. Whatever you talk in your own house is your business. Yeah, your kids might think you're a dickhead for doing it, but hey-ho, that's your business. But when you're out in the public, you know, a bit of decorum. You know, think before you open your gob. And there's too much of that in the world where people say what they like and then they wonder why somebody goes up and just gives them a slap from nowhere because you've pissed somebody off by saying the wrong word. And whatever people's private views are about the world, people can be racist but never ever show that in public, which is, that's up to them, that's their thing. Racist, sexist, you know, it all goes on. But when you're in the public, by doing that, you're pissing people off, and some of these people are people that won't stand it. And then you get a thump, a good hiding, and you wonder why. Why? Because you've opened your mouth. You shouldn't have said what you said. And that's my rant for today. And we're back to normal now. And we're back to the beer review now. I do apologise for the ranting. And, you know, going off on a tangent. So, what it says here, this is a 5.5% ABV. A true English India Pale Ale. Bravo. Darker than expected. Well, it is an amber pour. Good lacing. Not much of an head, to be fair. Full-bodied and well-balanced. The large amount of hops used in this brew give it a fresh floral aroma with plenty of citrus and grapefruit. Jolly good show. The flavour is full-bodied and well-rounded without the dominance of hops in an American IPA. So there you go. And the funny thing about Shipstones was a massive brewery back in the day. Massive. We're talking mega massive. You know, employed several hundreds, if not thousands of people. As did a lot of breweries around Nottinghamshire. Nowadays, 4 people. And if I'm wrong, it's because I read it on the internet. So, you know, don't shoot me if I'm wrong. I read it and they said there was only 4 people. So, yeah. I am a nosy bleeder. I do actually read things. Yes, yes. Even people from low, you know, from a poor background do read. And I read a hell of a lot. So I can still see the lacing there. It's quite much more thinner now, but you can see it. And funny enough, there is a floral aroma to it as well. So it's funny how you pick things out when you know what it is. The taste is very refreshing, very crisp, and like most IPAs, you know, it's made for this time of year, i.e. the summer. Oh, and I've got to be honest, it's the spot nicely. 8 minutes in. Ooh. So back to work tomorrow. Ooh. It's been a funny week. It's been a strange week. I haven't come across weeks like this ever. I can't go into too much detail at the moment. I will do eventually once things have happened and it's all panned out. Suffice to say that I've seen things that have been very eye-opening and very dark, and you know, in life, even the people that are horrible to you, nasty, intimidating, bullies, you don't wish them any ill. I don't wish anybody any ill feelings. It's not the person I am. I'm a nice person. Always try to be. Always will be that person. You know, I'm not religious. Never have been. Never will be. But you do hope people see solace in themselves, and you know, the best person to bring that person back to being a decent human being is to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. See your own errors. See your own what's wrong about you. I look at myself in the mirror. I see somebody who's going grey. I fucking hate it. Receding on top. I hate that as well. Who's slim bar that bit of a beer belly. Who drinks a little bit too much than he should do. who stresses way too much anxiety. But someone who tries to work his best is a great dad, great grandfather, and a good husband. I'm not the best, by no means. I've had a very, very tough year. With rats, we had rats underneath the house that eventually got into the bloody house. And I'll tell you what, it's most scary, you know, it absolutely broke me. And then I had issues at work with a character who was in my face, even though I'm suffering the worst anxiety, worst moment possibly in my life, and in my face. And it has made for a very tough year. Will I come out of it stronger? Hell yes. Will never ever let anybody beat me. And you know, like most people, you soak in that, the evilness that comes towards you, and the bullying and intimidation. You soak it in, and then at one stage there's a reaction, and these people that do this can't. There's nothing, you know, they can't take it. They've had it easy for whatever period of time, and you know, people forget that yes, you've reached a low, but there's somebody hidden inside who's so very strong. Somebody who could lash out, and you know, as tough as you might think you are in this world, there's always somebody who's tougher. Which is why I never ever think I'm an hard man. Don't need to do it. It's not the person I am. But there's always somebody out there who thinks he is, and then there's somebody always out there who are harder. There's somebody out there who will do something, and you see it all the time. You see these on TV. You see these people. Yeah, look at me. I'm a hard man. And someone comes up, whoosh, and you know, yeah, you might be an hard man, but you just had your throat slit. Yeah, not so hard now, are you? And in life, that's how it is. There are a lot of people in life who need to learn the lesson of life, you know. The lesson of life is to be a good person. Be the best you can. Look after your family, you know. And be good to the people around you. Don't be good to some people and be an arsehole to others. Because everyone knows in the end who you are. And, you know, people, everybody knows me, knows the person I am, knows that I suffer with some shit anxiety, but knows that I'm absolutely a really top class, nice person, or I try to be at least. You know, we've all got opinions on each other's, and it's a funny old world. The last, shall we say, these last 4 or 5 months have been the strangest of times for all of us. And, you know, we look at ourselves. For people who are abusing women and children across the UK, for fuck's sakes, pack that shit in. Look at yourself. Think to yourself, I've been a dickhead. You know, look in the mirror. Sit down with your wife and children. If you've, I mean, obviously sexually abusing is one thing. Physically, mentally abusing is something different. If you've been sexually abused and you need to hand yourself into the police, I mean, there's no respite for that. You know, that sort of shit I would never stand for. But physical and mental abuse, if you've done that, explain to your wife, ask them for forgiveness. Say to them, if I ever do this again, I'm going to hand myself into the police. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there, be honest with yourself. Fucking hell. None of us are perfect in this world. We all make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. You know, when you took the piss taking too far, and you think to yourself, yeah, I was a bit bad there. And I've done it myself. I took the piss taking too far, learnt my lesson, came away from that a better person. And yeah, when I did do the piss taking, I did the piss taking a lot less than I did 10 years ago, which I was a much worse person. But hey, but the tolerance for that sort of thing has gone down a lot in years, you know. The tolerance for everything seems to have died down. The tolerance at taking the piss out of gays, lesbians, blacks, and so on and so forth has gone down massively. And so it should be, because, you know, but also what we must realise as a society and as a world, there is, you know, an acceptable amount of piss taking that must be there. You know, you can't have a sterile world where you can't say anything, because we all need to take the mickey. I've seen two of the best lads on YouTube. These two black lads, I think they're called the Northern Brothers, or something along them lines. I will bring it back up again in the future review. And they're on about Black Lives Matter and all these movements that have come out. And they have slagged it all off. And they also reference the people, such as the likes of Denzel Washington, who obviously has got a good voice and is a strong person and a fantastic actor. And above all else, for me, he's a great actor. I don't care what colour he is. Colour means nothing. Morgan Freeman, again, another person, very strong in his beliefs. Some news reporter said to him about Black Lives Matter, this is from 4 or 5 years ago now, and about, oh, there should be a focus on Blacks Month and Black History Month. And he says, why should there be? He says, my history is American history. He says, why should my history be only consigned to 1 month? And his words were so clear, so spot on, and our history is all our history. It doesn't matter what colour you are. History is history. We learn from history, we move on, we get better. There are moments in history when people do the wrong thing, like that police officer in America. He killed that black man. It was the wrong thing, obviously, but that's only what, it's all part of history. And that's where Morgan Freeman, one of the best black actors, but you don't look at him as black, you look at him as an actor. He's just a great actor. You know, colour doesn't mean anything in that respect. He's a fantastic actor. And you know, some of the stuff he's done over the years, he has to be applauded. He's done really well. He's, you know, I don't know what background he came from. I've come from a background where, a very poor background. I had a dad who was quite well paid even to today's standards, because he worked abroad, come home, they all pissed it up the wall. And so did my mum. She pissed it up the wall as well. You know, it was all about the booze, and I'm doing beer reviews. It's quite sad. But we can't all blame everything else when it's the culture we're brought up in. It's the people we are. I was brought up in a poor background. At the age of 12, I realised that maybe going robbing from shops wasn't the best idea. Going and, you know, I got a short, sharp shock at the age of 12, turned into a better person. I've never been the sort of person who's gone around carrying knives, wanting to kill people and all that. I come from one of the roughest areas in Nottingham, and yet I've never been that sort of person. We can all change our destiny. It's not about who you are, what colour you are. It's about the person you should be, being that better person, keeping away from the, you know, don't be one of those that hangs in a gang. You don't need to be in a gang and do all that crap. You know, you can be a better person. And that's where all the best, the likes of Denzel Washington, the likes of Morgan Freeman, and so on, there's lots that are saying it, and they're saying, look, your colour, your background mean nothing. It's you that makes the difference. In the end, you can blame everything else on where you came from, but it's you that makes the difference. And I understand all that. Coming from a poor background, living in a poor community, living with parents that used to, you know, abusive parents that used to beat the F out of each other, that went boozing, that never cared about their kids. You know, certainly not until a certain age anyway. I mean, as a child, my father stopped him killing my mum at the age of 8. At the age of 10 he pissed off, never seen him again. As an adult I'd drive past him, looking, wanting to talk, but it's very hard. You know, he made no inclination to come back to his kids. And my mum, same. She, as an adult, she chose this, and I've got an Irish wife, so before we go any further, she chose this Irish bloke. He was just a bastard, he used to beat her up. She had she met another Irish bloke, he did the same. She met a window cleaner, he did the same. I don't know what went off, I don't know why every single one of them was a wife beater, a woman beater. What's the situation with beating women? For fuck's sakes. I've never ever laid my hands on a woman. I'm not even the sort of person who in a situation, you know, the only time I would ever strike out is if someone was coming to me and I had to defend myself, and then I would unleash hell on that person. You know, the first smack on me would unleash something they would not ever see. Once I turn red, it's their fault for doing it, you know. But the world we live in, it's a strange old world. Anyway, back to the beer. I do apologise for people who actually came for a beer review. That was a bit off tangent. But anyway, cheers, shippos. Now I remember Shipstones Gold Star from my early days, you know. In the taste, elements of citrus, a little bit of grapefruit. Quite a nice beer. I've had it on draft. I know how nice it is on draft. It is really nice. And like most Nottingham people, and like most people around the country, you want to drink beers. You especially want to support your local breweries because you are from that area. Me, Shipstones means a lot to me. It's brewed in Basford. It's actually still brewed in Basford, albeit on a much smaller scale than it was. But obviously that was a massive company. This is a much smaller company, heritage, you know, using that name. I don't know how they got the name. They must have paid some dues to get the name somehow. Because with you know, with any company you can't just take somebody's name. So there must have been some sort of payment or, you know, licensing or something to get that name. But they've done well. I mean, I've watched Shipstones at Robin Hood Beer Festival. I've drank every one of their beers. I've not reviewed everyone because with coronavirus I've not been able to get hold of the bottles. I want to review Nut Brown, and like all breweries that are on this back wall, and I will do another beer wall video because I've now started shifting the glasses off the very top shelf and putting beers up there, and the beers now take up 2/3 of the shelf now, simply because I've got so many chuffing beers. So, a long review, more of a background into some of my life, really, you know. We all live strange lives. Not all of us are privileged to live a luxurious life with very rich parents and not have to worry about money, you know. And then a lot of us also live a full working life and makes probably the slight wrong decisions about where we go. And if as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, I'd have actually bought my house or bought the house that we was offered at the time, thought it was too expensive, didn't buy it, and would have been rent free by now, you know, mortgage free, life would have been a lot easier. But you don't know these things in life, and it's all a learning curve. Or every part of life is a learning curve, and we do the best we can. And only the foolish of us think that we know it all. You know, no one knows it all. No one. In the next 2 weeks, I've just turned down a job offer from a fantastic firm The only thing wrong was that I couldn't do the commute. The commute would piss me off every day. And the hours weren't that great, if I'm being honest. 8 till 5 is a killer. 7 till 4, don't mind that so much. But you can't work on people's gardens at 7 in the morning. Hence why 8 till 5. And it's sad really, because the job was 100% perfect. 100%. The work would have been tough, but I don't mind tough work. Keeps your brain busy, keeps you going, And like every job, once you've dominated one garden, once you've won, then it all gets easier. I mean, I look after jobs every 2 weeks, a garden every 2 weeks, and it's as easy as hell, And it's only because I'm someone who's that much of a perfectionist as a gardener that I try and get it absolutely perfect, picture perfect. And for the price I charge, the lady's happy. I'm not too bothered about the price I charge. And it's really hard to charge old people because you don't want to rip old people off. And in the long run, I may take more gardens over. And if I was to win the lottery, that would be brilliant. If I was to win the lottery and only need money just as pocket money rather than to survive on, to pay bills, then to set up my own business doing gardens would be brilliant. Because there's no, you gardening, whatever money you get, it's getting chucked in the drawer, use it when you need it, and they're the best days. I've talked a lot tonight. So, really nice IPA, going down a treat, 5.5%, really hitting the spot. 27 minutes for a review, my God. And that's the review over. Right, so, bit of a floral aroma. And in the taste, definitely got citrus, definitely got a hint of grapefruit in the taste. But overall, all the way through, really drinkable, very nice, hits the spot throughout. And I've got to be honest, totally loved it. And as good as what you get on draft in the pub, easily. 5.5%, yeah, bang on. So, out of 5, for me, 4.4 out of 5. A true classic of a beer. And that's enough from this beer review. Thank you, all of you, for watching and subscribing. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay safe and see you soon. Cheers.